Most High. All praises to the Most High.
So what exactly we are just discussing?
We are the Hebrew Israelites. Come out here every weekend, every week out. Teach our people, the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, who they are. You're Hispanic. Would you be a so-called Puerto Rican? Dominican? Right here. Guatemala.
Yes, he's Zebulon.
Zebulon. And that's where your father's from?
My mother
Salvador. So you'll be an Israelite according to the Bible. Alright. We get Deuteronomy 28.
Both Zebulon.
From the tribe of Zebulon.
Start at 15. So the Lord gave us law, statutes, and commandments to keep. Right? So we do not keep his law, statutes, and commandments. That's why we're in the big predicament that we're in today, right? So the Lord put curses upon us. Can you tell me if these curses, who on earth does these curses fit? Alright.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
It's like, yeah, you heard of the story of Moses?
Good.
Moses, right? When he went to the mountain and the Lord gave him the commandments to give to Israel, this is what he's talking about. So that's what the top again.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
It's like, if the Israelites will not what? Will not hearken
to the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes.
All the commandments, right?
Which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All the curses. Is a curse a bad thing or a good thing? It's a bad thing, right?
I don't know if it's like third prophet or something like that. So we keep in touch.
So here's some curses that we're going to bring out. I want you to tell me who these curses identify with on this earth here today.
Verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and with blindness and astonishment of heart. And thou shalt grope in noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore.
Who's oppressed? Who's oppressed on this earth? Who's oppressed? Who's oppressed? Who's oppressed on this earth? Who's oppressed? What people? Who lives in the slums? Who's on drugs? Who's blacks, Hispanics, right? Native Americans, right?
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
So what happened in slavery, right? They separated. Right? So we had wives, but other men laid with our wives. And who were those other men that laid with our wives?
Okay.
That's right.
The conquistadors.
Conquistadors.
That's
Right?
what it is. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein.
So we build the White House, right? Our people were put into slavery. They built that White House. We don't dwell in that White House. Never had a black president. Never had a. So we never dwelt in that house. So Obama was not black. Obama was an African. Obama was an African. All right. So African and blacks are two different people. We're not the same people. All right. So you have Africans. They're from Ham. All right. It's gonna bring out the definition for Ham.
No, if you want me to.
Yeah, bring it out.
He can continue while I find it.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
What happened in slavery when we came off the slave ships?
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
When we sold to other people, right? And then they come take our kids from us. Kids went this way, mother and father went another way to another land, right?
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them, all the day long.
What did the parents do? They cried, right? They reached out for them, right? But what happened? They still sent them away, right? Okay, bring out that definition of ham.
So this is the definition of ham. We're going to find out that the black man in America is not African. Okay? He's more actually related to you. He is related.
That's right.
This is the Compact Bible Dictionary by Zanderbilt. Zanderbilt Bible Compact Bible Dictionary. Definition of ham. Okay? The youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood. Remember Noah and the flood and the ark? Okay. And one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor, means the father, of the dark races, not the Negro.
Read it again. Progenitor of what?
He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Ethiopians.
The Ethiopians with it's Africa,
The
Africa,
Egyptians.
right? The Egyptians, Africa, right?
The Ethiopians,
Africa.
the Libyans, the Canaanites.
Those are his children, right? He's not the progenitor of the Negroes. So there's two different people.
Just to give you some background on Zanderbilt, he was set to prove that the blacks were not, they were Hamites, that they were from Africa indigenous. He didn't not only prove that, he proved that we were actually the special people of God, and when he figured that out, he killed himself. He spent his own money, his family's wealth to write this book. He found out who we were, and he murdered us, killed us.
That's what they say.
Well, that's what it is. Because nobody has a problem with black people being Christian or Muslim. If we say we're the chosen people of God, Israelites, the whole world erupts in hatred.
So we are the Israelites, right? So this is this happen to. What people did this happen to? Our people, right? Slavery is in the Bible. Alright, it's prophesied in the Bible that this will happen to us if we didn't what? Keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? That's what we just read in verse 15, right? If we don't keep his commandments, his laws, and statutes, what's going to happen to us? We're going to be what? Cursed. Slavery is what? It's a curse, right? Bring that out.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Lord's going to bring us into Egypt again with ships. So when we left out of Egypt with Moses, did we leave out in ships? Or did we walk? No. When we left out with Moses, we walked out, right? So now the Bible is telling us that we're going to go back into Egypt again. What were we doing in Egypt? We were what? Slaves, right? So the Lord is telling us we will go back into Egypt again, right? With ships. Keep going on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
We're never going to see our homeland again.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
And there. Bring out that definition for Egypt. So he's going to bring out the definition of Egypt in the Bible. Bring it out.
Exodus 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
He brought us out of Egypt, right?
Out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt is the house of bondage, slavery, right? So when we bring it out in Deuteronomy, we say that he will send us back to slavery again, Egypt again, which means slavery again with ships, right? Said I agree.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
And there we should be sold to our who?
To your enemies.
To our what?
To your enemies.
So who are our enemies? Who are we sold to? That's absolutely right. Alright, so we got the auction block here, right here. Right? We were sold to our enemies. Alright? So we're not supposed to befriend our enemies.
I just want to let you check this out.
You see the lynching, the burning.
Would your friends do this to you?
Did to our people.
If your friend did that to your brother or your father, would you go hang out at his house the next day?
No.
Why not? I thought these people were your friends. They're your friends, right?
I would take revenge on my brother or sister.
Right. But could the blacks take revenge on the whites when they were doing this to us?
Nah, they would just do it more.
They would just do it more, right? Go ahead.
Come. So how do a lot of people ask the question, how do we get out of this predicament that we in? How do we get out of being in the slums? How do we get out of our people being on drugs, right? How do we make it to the kingdom of heaven, right? That's what you want to know, right? How do we get to the kingdom of heaven? The kingdom of heaven is only for the Israelites, right? The kingdom of heaven is only for the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right?
Right.
So in order for us to make it to the kingdom, what do we have to do? Do you guys know? We get Matthew. Yeah,
Comes. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. And now Israel, what does the Lord thy God require of thee?
So we have, as Israelites, we have to know what the Lord requires of us, correct? We have to know what the Lord expects of us and what he wants us to do in order to get that kingdom, right? Read out.
But to fear the Lord thy God.
First you got to fear the Lord, right?
To walk in all his ways.
You got to walk in the Lord's ways, right?
And to love him. And to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy
You
soul.
have to love the Lord with all your heart and all your soul. How do you love the Lord with all your heart and all your soul? Bring it out.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
So we have to endure to the end to be saved. Right. So you have to continue to keep fighting. Yeah, it's going to be a struggle. Our people are still going to be hurting. But we have to keep our head up and keep fighting to make it to that kingdom. You reading on that?
Right. To keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, to which I command thee this day.
The same thing that was in Deuteronomy 15, right? When we read Deuteronomy chapter 15, right? It said, if we do not hearken, if we do not listen to the Lord thy God, these curses will be put upon us, right? So it's saying the same thing. We have to what? We have to keep the commandments. We have to keep the laws of God in order to make it to the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 24.
I'm on 24 now.
Right.
What you need? Oh, okay. Can he just bring out one more and it's gonna be quick?